Good afternoon. My name is Breeze Harper, and I am the founder of the Sistah Vegan Project. And I thought that in light of the upcoming release of Sistah Vegan, that I would talk about not just the book's journey from me looking for a publisher 2006 to now it's coming out next month, but just talk about a little more about myself, so people can get an idea of how I have been influenced by where I've lived, how I grew up, how I was educated. So I wanted to share that I am a PhD student currently at UC Davis, and that I'm focusing on looking at food, and I'm in the geography department, specifically doing critical food geographies and looking at how race and racialization affect one's praxis of foodways, food justice, food activism. And I also use Black feminist theory and critical race studies to really understand this. And part of the research I do calls for methodologies around critical reflexivity and autoethnography, and this is basically within the realm of feminist methodologies and theories. And what I've been doing is reading lately how my multiple positions influence how I actually conduct research and how I come to understand the findings of my research, or even the questions that come out. So I've been reading Chandra Mohanty, I've been reading Patricia Hill Collins, Jackie Alexander, these women of color, feminists, social theorists, are for the most part always reflecting on what does it mean to be me producing this knowledge. So I want to share that I was born in New England in 1976 in a small town named Lebanon, and 98% white, working class town. My parents were one of the few people of color in the town, and we had our own house and 2.5 acres of land. And my father wanted to turn this yard not just to a play yard, but to edible landscaping and gardening. So that's probably one of the first introductions I had to food and to eco-sustainable. I mean, he kind of did edible gardening before it became trendy, in I guess East Bay area probably. Just joking, but he introduced me to, all you need is a plot of land to be able to grow your own food and sustain yourself. So we had various types of fruits and vegetables. We also did have access to a nature store, and he would introduce us to certain foods that kind of went outside the norm of junk food and fast food. So we would go to the store once a week, and he would want us to buy sweets that were not sweetened with cane sugar, but other forms of sweetener that were, in his opinion, more natural. So that's kind of a background for people to understand where I'm coming from. I do acknowledge that in many aspects I had a very privileged upbringing, in that I had the luxury of being able to have a home, food, clothing, just basic human rights materials that one needs to survive. And then probably around the age of 10 or 11, I realized, wow, I'm not just like a kid in this town, I'm a kid who is black. And I didn't really start coming into that consciousness until my early teens, as I said, 11 or 12 years old. So what shaped my current interest in Black feminist theory, critical race theory, is that at the age of 12, when I entered Lyman Memorial Junior High School, that first day someone called me the N-word. I never saw who it was, but they said it several times. And I remember just kind of running away, like in the hall, someone saying, "Look at that skinny little N-word. Run, N-word, run," except they said the word. And kind of it led me to understand, wow, I'm a black girl in this all-white school. And then throughout my years, 7th through 12th grade, I always had conflicts with teachers when I wanted to bring up, we just read something, but it's interesting that it's only the white experience, or it's interesting how they portray these black people in a negative way. And it was really difficult to have these conversations. All the teachers I had, except for one teacher who was black, my elementary school teacher, all the other teachers were all white. And for them, it was impossible for them to understand, for the most part, why I had such frustrations reading the literature that was assigned, not being able to think critically, and then experiencing outside of the literature, but just in the social environment of junior high, how people treated me, certain comments my peers would say about black people of color, that were very ignorant, and many of them didn't realize it. So that's kind of how my consciousness started becoming, I guess, became shaped around that type of environment. So that's the background for my K through 12 years very quickly. And if you click on the next link, you'll hear about college and then my late 20s and early 30s.